Welcome, friends, to New Chapters with Gina. This is a therapeutic coaching series. Each client is a volunteer and has agreed to be recorded. These are real people with real stories, all seeking their own new chapters. The intention here is to share stories and promote healing. I have a healing process that I use, and you will hear me refer to it along the way. This channel or any of the content is not meant to be a substitute for any needed medical attention. This channel is being sponsored by Working Smarter Digital Sales. If you would like to know how you too can earn a passive income and follow your dreams, visit workingsmarterdigitalsales.com. If you would like to follow the journey with me here on the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Enjoy the session. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me today, Amy. Just tell us a little about yourself before we get going here.
I am Amy. I live in Tennessee. I am a mother. He is 16, just turned 16, just started driving. He's a good driver. I am a massage therapist, and I also do construction estimations, and I am engaged.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to say how much I appreciate your willingness to participate here and your willingness to be vulnerable, to share your story with others. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
So we're going to start out today. The first topic that we were going to address has to do with stress management. And I had asked you to, elaborate on the topic a little bit. And you had said, and I'm quoting you here, I've been struggling to keep my nervous system in balance. There has been major stressors in my life, and my nervous system is paying the cost. I would love a new strategy for helping it. So can you elaborate just a little bit more on those stressors?
I think it's just basically life stressors. Relationship stressors have been a big issue for me, trying to get everything cohesive in my relationship with my beloved, and just kind of struggling with it, struggling with some tears, struggling with trying to keep my fucking sanity while trying to be a good human and be empathetic.
Gotcha. So this, stressors, you said that generally, but I feel like right now it's more specific.
It is more specific right now. It's, just generally stress, period. There's been home stress, like home work stress. My insurance company threatened to cancel me unless I got a new roof. Yay. So that was a stress. Got that one handled and taken care of. And it just seems like thus is life. Once you get one under control, then four more pile up on top of you, and you're just like,
it's kind of like a snowball effect, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. And I feel like, my train of thoughts suffer sometimes with it. Like a negative emotion will get going, and then it'll get stuck, and then it'll snowball like a SOB, and then there we go, and we're manic.
And it's interesting that you describe that as a train of thought, because that's actually how I just describe my process to my people. I have a process that I work with all of my clients. And, most of the time when people come to therapy or come to help, they're usually at the results, right? Something's happened, something's going on in their life that's causing the issue, right? Well, it didn't just happen out of nowhere, right? There was a building process, and it all starts with a train of thought, right? And I use the representation of a train to explain my process. And so imagine your life as a train ride, okay? And the tracks are representative of the practice way you think, okay? And the fuel that's driving your train is representative of the emotional reaction to those thoughts, okay? And then once you have a practice way of thinking and you have emotional reactions, then you're going to develop beliefs. And your beliefs are representative of your perspective while you're on this train, how you see your experience, right? And depending on what your beliefs are will depend on your destination, where you keep ending up over and over again. And so, but when we come to help, we're not thinking about all the things that led up to that. We just think, I have this issue and I need help, right? And so, but it didn't happen out of nowhere. So we have to start backing up a little bit and start thinking about what led to that, what patterns are leading you to that destination over and over again. And
Yep.
say, you know, if you didn't want anything in your life to change, you could just keep getting up, hopping on that train, keep thinking what you're thinking, keep feeling what you're feeling, and you keep getting what you're getting, right?
Yep.
But you're kind of tired of that train, right?
Oh yeah. It's
but it
exhausting.
but you know how to be on it, right? It's
Yeah.
comfortably uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so, but you want to find a way to get off that train and to create a new destination for yourself. But we
Okay.
can't do it by staying on that train.
Yep.
We have to come over to a clear piece of land, and we have to start laying new tracks, the
Yep.
new practice way of thinking, because if you don't start there, then you can't have those new emotional reactions. So, you know, we have to start there. And so that's what I suggest. You know, I have some practices that I'll share with you shortly, but I just wanted to tell you generally about what my process is that I'm working through as we're
Yep.
going along through these. And so everyone is at some place in that process, and depending on what we're talking about will depend on where you are. And so my questions and the things that we'll be talking about will be geared towards that process. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, you know, what you're telling me right now, you know, the stressors that are going on in your life, and one particularly being stressors in your relationship. But of course, I know we're going to be talking about that in a little while too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you have probably more resistance, a little bit more emotional stuff wrapped up in the relationship part of it, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so let's choose one of the lesser stressors to talk about, because once you learn how to go through the process on one stressor, you can apply it to any of the rest of them. And so let's talk about one of the other stressors. You mentioned something about your roof, or would you like to talk about something else?
The roof is fine. Uh,
Okay. All
it's
right. So you were describing that as being a stressor. And most of us can understand that. The insurance company
sure.
saying, "Hey, it
Yeah,
was the insurance company, wasn't it? Yeah,
it sure
saying
was.
you got to get a roof ASAP, or you're going to lose your insurance. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" Right? And
Right.
I'm so your thoughts were what when they told you that?
Holy crap. What the hell am I gonna do? I don't have the money for a roof. Um,
Hmm.
it went on and on and on.
I got you. So you started on that train of thought
Yep.
about it, and your first thought was, "Oh no."
Right.
Right. And just like the snowball, though, once you start on that path, then it becomes easier to think of something else. Oh, no, I don't have the money. Oh, no, what am I going to do? Right.
Right.
And so it
Yeah.
kind of snowballs and ends up probably in anxiety, I would imagine.
Oh, huge anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we can't, you know, life is going to throw us curveballs. There's nothing that none of us can do here in a session or any other session that's going to make that stop happening, right? Like it's going to
Right.
happen. But we want to be
Just
able to manage it
yeah.
better when those
Yeah.
things are coming along and not get knocked off our balance so quickly
Yes.
because it's happening, because things happen, right? And so you want to find a better way of coping, like you said in your response. You want to find a new strategy. And so I've got some questions here. So okay, here's some questions. I would ask, was that avoidable? Not really, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's something that you kind of have to do. Some things are avoidable, but this doesn't really sound like one that is.
Mm-mm.
Why do you feel stress in that situation? So why do you think stress is your very first response?
Oh, because I didn't have the finances for it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And would would everyone in a similar situation feel the same exact way?
I would imagine so. I would imagine some people might have some money to cover it in their bank account, but
Mhm.
I would imagine in this day and age that a lot of people would not. So yes, that they would respond the same way.
Okay, I think most people would. I think you're right. But on the other hand, I also think that not everyone, I do believe that not everyone, even if they didn't have the finances, would automatically go to, oh no.
Anxiety.
Not
Yeah.
everyone's wired the same way, you know, because there are some people that let absolutely everything roll off their back,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
can stay positive despite these things and just pivot, just keep
Lucky guy.
pivoting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, I understand why that's been your experience, and I understand why most people would feel that way. But it's not a given just because one thing happens that your only response is the way you've been responding. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So could this experience happening, could it be labeled as something else? Because right now your immediate response was, oh no, which means it's a bad thing, right?
Well, I
What
mean,
if it,
it could be labeled as, yes, it's time. It's been time to get a new roof,
Mhm.
and we're gonna roll with it and see what happens and trust that this is for me.
Exactly. Because, I feel like the universe usually knows what's better for us. They know what's up ahead. They
Yeah.
know, the universe knows all the moving parts, right? And
Hmm.
so, you don't know. There could be a storm up ahead that you need that having a new roof would keep you more safe,
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, of course, I don't know what your beliefs are, but I believe that let me look at it this way. Has there ever been a situation from your past that at that time in the past that it caused you a tremendous amount of stress, but now when you're looking back on it, you see that situation completely different,
Sure.
and you can see how those situations actually benefited you now?
Yeah, they worked out for the best. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. So there's a future version of you, just
Yeah.
like you now, that's
Yeah.
calling you forward, that sees all the details concerning the situation with your roof. And that
Yes.
future version of you is not stressed out about it at all, because that future version already sees all the things that you needed to do and already sees the benefit of why you needed to have that roof and
Hmm.
why it was a good thing.
Yeah. The
And
quantum.
so, if you can remind yourself that there's always that future version of you that knows how this situation is going to benefit you. But sometimes we get caught up in it and we allow ourselves to get on that track again, right? Because we
Yeah.
know how to be on that track.
Yeah.
And so, but, I'm going to share some practices with you, at the end of all of this that's going to help you to get things back on the right track, so to speak. Okay.
Right on.
So does that make sense
Perfect.
about what I'm talking about? Yeah. Just keep in mind that future version of you, that I believe that everything's always working out for our highest good, even when it doesn't always feel like it.
Right.
And personally, I've had a big transition myself more recently. And in the
Yeah.
beginning of it all, it felt like a gut punch.
Sure.
But as time is going on, I am seeing more and more how it was a blessing that the situation happened, even though it was really hard. But at the same time, I've been practicing that future sight a lot
Mhm.
more, and so that's why I like to
That's a
share
good
with
one.
people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that it can help you not get so hung up on it and know that this is just a moment
Very.
in
Yeah.
time. And with every stressors in your life, you can look at them in the same way, because I believe that they're all there to benefit us. Because there's two sides to every coin, right? There's the
Yeah.
good and the bad. And whatever we're giving the most attention to will depend on our train ride and what destination we're going to end up in. And so,
Yeah.
but we can't stop a moving train once we've got that momentum going.
Right.
Because once you had that first reaction, oh no, oh gosh, what am I
Then-
going to do? The momentum of that train was spiraling,
Yeah.
right? You
Yep.
can't stop it at that point. The best time to create a new track is before you ever get started on that one.
Yeah.
You have to start, to create a new track when you're not already triggered on this old one.
Right.
So you can start creating new thoughts, and once you create a new pattern of thinking, then it's easier to have new emotional reactions and develop new beliefs, and then of course you're going to have a new destination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now,
Neuroplasticity.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said neuroplasticity. That's what we're looking.
Exactly. You know exactly what's going on here.
We just need to nip
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. We've got to train ourselves, because it's not just going to happen out of nowhere, because we're going to
No.
keep going to that default over and over. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. It's what we know.
You're right.
And so we have to it takes a little effort in the beginning to create that new track. But
Yeah.
after a while, it becomes second nature, just like this old track feels like second nature, but it sucks.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we've covered the first topic of stress management. And Thank you so much for listening in, and I hope you enjoyed the stories and found value in today's discussion. Keep in mind that sessions will be broken up into different parts and shared on different days. So if you like what we're doing here, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you would like to know more about our sponsor and more about how you too can earn a passive income and follow your dreams just like me, just visit workingsmarterdigitalsales.com. Thank you.